Hey, good afternoon everybody, Opinionated Cheapskate. I'm coming at you today with a little preview of my new Swedish military surplus hatchet. This is available from, I think, a lot of different outlets. I paid $20 for this from Sportsman's Guide, but I think it's available for roughly that price from a lot of outlets around that sell military surplus gear from time to time. Let's go over some specs with this to start with. The overall length of the tool is 15.5 inches. The handle is 13 inches. The length of the blade, 5.5 inches. This way 5.5 inches, and this way is just over 3.25 inches. The profile of the head, and here let me bring this closer and have it focus. There we go. All right. The profile of the head here actually is quite nice. It's got a nice taper. This is nice and narrow here at the top. Then it tapers out wide, and then there's a nice heavy bit of a pommel here in the back. It seems like it's actually a little bit of extra weight here that you might not see always. And that's great because it gives you, let me back out here a little bit. When you're ready to actually swing this, you have a nice heavy head here, which gives you, I think, it's going to give me, I think, some pretty good bite into the wood. So overall, I'm very pleased with the design. Also note that the handle has a nice swell here, which will be great when you're wanting to do sort of narrow, sort of more fine tasks. The grain of the wood, as you see here, is, I'll call that not perfect, but pretty good. And the weight, let's see what the weight is. Got grams, 1,006, or in US, 2 pounds, 3.5 ounces. So this is neither a super lightweight tool, nor is it a super heavyweight tool. It's kind of in the middle there. But I think it's got enough weight that it ought to do some good work. One odd thing about this is that the entire tool, even the head, all of the metal and all of the wood has been dipped in lacquer, which I guess probably accounts for why it still looks as good as it does for a piece of military surplus, which is, you know, obviously been sitting in a warehouse for 20 or 30 years or more. It looks frankly brand new, but the downside of that is, you know, cleaning this off and getting the lacquer off the handle is going to be a bit of a hassle. I'm not even sure whether I'm going to even try to take the lacquer off of the blade itself. I'll probably just leave that and let it wear off by itself. One downside this did have, another downside is that maybe you can see there was essentially no edge on this. This was absolutely as dull as a butter knife. It was just sort of like, it was almost like it was mushed flat. So I started out saying, oh, well, I can just sharpen that up and put an edge on this with the Lansky puck. No, this was going to take me forever. I ended up giving up on that and actually getting out the, you know, the Dremel sharpening tool, which I use when I have to, you know, put a rough edge on a lawnmower blade or something like that. And I use that to sort of create the profile of the edge here, which I'm now in the process of cleaning up. So I've not yet used this in the wood. I'm still working on this, getting it clean, but it did ultimately take a decent edge, and it's fairly sharp now. Not as sharp as I want it to be, but we're getting there on it now. So I wouldn't buy this if you don't know how to sharpen, but if you're willing to put a little bit of work in, yeah, this seems to be a nice tool. It's a nice compact size, as I said, but big enough, I think, to do some significant work. And you know, you've only paid $20. It comes with, I guess this is what you would call a sheath. Not really. So I'm clearly going to have to get a sheath made for this, or buy a, you know, something that's a, you know, a standard size that'll fit it. So, you know, that's neither here nor there. I don't think that's a particularly big deal. But yeah, no, I think this is a nice nice little hatchet. I think it'll serve me well for camping tasks. I mean, often I will take a saw and a knife and not a hatchet, which is why I didn't want to spend a huge amount of money on one. But when I know I'm going to be processing more wood, and I really am going to need to do a lot of work in the woods, yeah, you know, this is probably going to be worth bringing. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this purchase, and for $20, you know, not a bad deal at all. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful to you. Have a nice afternoon. Thanks, everybody.